Welcome to Transformation Matters. Shift from grumpy to grateful, from heartbroken to happy, from helpless to hopeful, from jealous to joyous, and cluttered to clarity. Using 12 themes from the book Live Inspired, Stories of Brave Self-Discovery and the Wisdom Gleaned Along the Way, I'll be sharing an idea, a brief story, and tips you can practice for a holistic transformation of your heart, space, and life. I'm Laura Staley, founder of Cherish Your World and the author of Live Inspired. I passionately guide people to heal, transform, and thrive. Today, I'm discussing the perceptions of other people about you. Have you ever had a stranger, a friend, colleague, or family member, boss, let you know what they thought about you, how they saw you? Maybe this was unsolicited, or maybe you actually asked. How did you respond? What did they actually say? Did you consider the source, the person, and your relationship to them? Did their words contain grains of truth or whole corncob kernels? Did you shift your view of yourself and take different actions after that interaction? What did you learn? So much of self-discovery is in relationship with other people. I'm sure many of you have heard the expression that everyone's a mirror for something inside of you, and that what we judge or criticize in another person, we've got going on inside of ourselves, and we just haven't taken a look there. I certainly have had this experience so many times, and we'll share just a couple of those in this particular podcast. I had an individual who I really respect and admire, and this person let me know that he really saw me as a visionary. And I was so touched by that and really moved by his feedback. And I went to another friend, and she was so fierce. She was like, Laura, don't ever call yourself that. If other people want to say that about you, great. But don't walk around touting yourself as a visionary, because it'll really land like you're bragging. And I took that to heart, because it kind of was like, yeah, I'm just Laura. I don't know. I don't even call myself Dr. Staley. I know some people, I respect those who would like to be referred to as, if they're a medical doctor or they've earned their PhD. I've earned my PhD, but I just would prefer people call me Laura. It's my name. But that's just me. At any rate, back to these perceptions of other people and what you do with it. And then I had a couple of really close friends who have known me for a long time in a separate conversation let me know that sometimes I hide my intelligence and I come off as very emotional. And I thought, yeah, there's some truth to that. I've been known to cry openly, publicly with gratitude, or when I'm moved, or even just because I'm grieving and something is said in the conversation that really strikes me. And I've come to own this part of myself, but their encouragement was to, depending on the context, sort of integrate that with my intellect, so people would receive me and really be able to hear me. Although I think there's a greater bandwidth out in our world now for emotions, for vulnerability, for honesty, and for that genuine expression. So I kind of was like, yeah. And I was able to really reflect on all of these individuals' feedback to me, and see the grains of truth in all of it, and what I wanted to do with it going forward. I think that's the important thing. And in terms of kind of tips, I would offer to, first of all, consider the source. Consider the nature of the relationship of the person that you're actually talking to. Is this a complete stranger who just walked up to you and told you, you look funny and you're wearing weird clothes and, and, maybe you are, I don't know. But does it have to stick to you? Do you have to walk around and then go home and change your clothes? I don't know. Maybe you would, maybe you wouldn't. I think knowing yourself and living true to yourself it can be a lifelong process, but you get more clear as you go along, and listening to people who really have your best interests can be very valuable. So someone who you trust, who has had your back, who you can confide in, who really, really wants your life to be fulfilling and loving and beautiful. They're the ones that are probably going to offer really sage wisdom and honest feedback to you. I would listen closer to those individuals than other folks who may be projecting their own insecurities, their own jealousies, or the things that they're working on. A lot of times we're just talking to ourselves, and people will go up to another person and offer a thought, and really it's just them thinking about themselves and attempting to get the world to think like they do, or act like they do, or feel like they do. But you get to be yourself. So again, consider the source and know that that person really may have your best interest. And also notice how, if you're reactive, if you get immediately defensive, even if it's a person who you really, really love and who really, really loves you, and you're getting a little crunchy. That's my way of saying it. That may be a moment to take a breath and realize, maybe they had a little grain of truth there and something that you just haven't been willing to look at. It's so easy to see the blind spots in another and much tougher to see them in ourselves. Of course, I would say, sometimes it's hard to see our own beauty and goodness and worthiness and value, and others will see that sometimes way before we do. Or on the other hand, you can have those individuals that think they're perfect exactly how they are, and then you wonder, wow, they've masterfully crafted their pretense, I'm thinking. The second one is you can intentionally seek the feedback of others. Why not? Why not be brave and write to your closest friends who really, really love you and want your life to flourish, and ask them what they think about how they experience you, and make it really safe for them to tell you your truth. So maybe do it in an email or in a letter exchange. I know it's really unusual for people to actually write letters, but you could write down your reflections of how you experience someone and what they might be willing to look at and be working on about themselves. And be sure to balance it. If you're the person being asked for that feedback, be sure to balance it with a lot of positivity in the things that you love and appreciate about the other person. So it's just a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. Let's see. The third is to take a personality assessment. Those are really fun. There's one that you could discern that you're a supporter or a promoter, an analyzer or controller. There's the true colors of blue, green, orange, and gold. That's another one. There's also the Enneagram that has 9. And know that you can go online and check out these different assessment tools to discover things about yourself that you can celebrate, and areas maybe of growth and discernment. So there are healthy expressions of all of these ways that you could be in life. Plus, what I love about this is this recognition that, wow, right, there are other perceptions out there. There are all these different personalities and ways of interacting with the world and with people. There are people that are much more intellectual. There are people that are very emotional. There's the poets, and then there's the engineers, right? We all belong in this diverse mix of world, but self-discovery is kind of getting clear about your own uniqueness and the quirks and ways that you have about doing your life and living true to you. I think that's the beauty of self-discovery, is recognizing that there's this unique way you have of seeing the world, of dressing, of speaking, of laughing, and you just get to be you. So check out the personality assessments. They can be invaluable in self-discovery. And then the last one I'll offer is to notice what you love to do. What do you actually enjoy? And this can help you lean in to those things. I mean, so often, self-improvement is like, oh my gosh, I've got to fix all these wrong things about me. Well, maybe it's just a matter of loving what's really great about you, and loving that you cry easily, and loving that you might right now have a broken heart, or loving the fact that you've got sass, and and there's situations where you may just kind of soften it a little bit so people can hear you and they can be with you. Just kind of like my friends with my tears. They want me to be heard by all different kinds of people. And, frankly, it's hard for some people to hear another individual when they're crying. It just is what it is, right? So notice what you love to do, and how that reveals so much about you. Your heart knows the answers to who you are, who you're becoming, and what brings you joy, and the life that you actually want to live. That concludes my tips. Next time we'll be discussing finding joy in the messes of life. I'll share a brief story and tips to support your self-discovery and transformations in your experience of being alive. This is Transformation Matters with your host, Laura Staley, founder of Cherish Your World and author of Live Inspired, passionately guiding people to thrive, heal, and transform. You are loved more than you can even imagine. You matter to our world. Till next time.